Now, here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the show. This is the
Oh,
SVT Sports Pod. No, Sam today.
I think I just threw on my
He's
neck. Can you throw out your neck? I think I just did it. Oh my
uh,
god.
you can tweak it a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. You're not 22 anymore, dude. You got to be careful when you're head banging.
Yeah, gotta be
You
careful
know,
of that, man.
whenever that solo comes on from Bohemian Rhapsody, you just can't go hard in the paint anymore. Like you're in Wayne's World, man. Can't do it. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
take it a little easier. Yeah. Okay. But other than throwing out your neck, how you doing, Tyler?
Man, good. I drove back from LA yesterday. It was eventful to say the least. I'm not gonna tell everyone here what happened, but boys, I'll just tell you this real quick, and girls too. If you get tired, pull off. No need to push the
Oh,
limit here. We're all
somebody,
good. No
somebody
issues.
else.
No, it
Like
was it
some.
was it was me. It was me.
Oh,
It was me. It was me. You know, no
oh,
issues. No. Nobody's hurt. No. Everything
okay,
is fine. No issues. But
okay.
lesson for next time. You get tired, pull off. Don't
Yeah,
be.
you're not
Don't.
22 anymore.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just that's the
what's
phrase
the
of the day,
theme?
I
Maybe we
guess.
should have named that the episode
Yeah, the
today.
episode is Tyler's not 22 anymore.
It, man. That's it.
uh,
How was your 3-day weekend?
it was good. Went hiking with some friends over at Lake Chabot. For those of you that
Nice.
are local to the SF Bay area, specifically the East Bay, so that was kind of cool. Um, we just went out to the dam and back, just a quick little 4 miler. Nothing too crazy. It's all paved road anyway. Hike loosely used, but I'm getting back into that kind of stuff. So
Good, man.
yeah, yeah, that's kind of that was the big highlight. The rest of it was me watching a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. So and sports too. But I got that dropout subscription, so I'm gonna keep using it until I watch
Let's
everything on
give
there.
a round of applause and a shout out for Vinny's weight journey. He has done so good this
Thanks,
whole
dude.
journey,
Yeah.
man. So congratulations, man. If it
Uh,
has not been said, it needs to be said every single time.
yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Still working on it, but I've definitely come a long way, and we're still, we're still going hard in the paint. So,
Love it, man.
had my salad for lunch this morning. So,
Love
still
it.
still behaving for the most part. All right. I think we've given everybody enough time to settle in, and now let's just start diving in. We're going to start with the NFL. Just a couple of news and notes. Things happened. First off, the Buffalo Bills are going to be on Hard Knocks this season for the
Yeah.
preseason. It's the first time their franchise will be featured on Hard Knocks. Um, I mean, when you think about it, like the biggest question mark I think right now is like who's going to step up at receiver, and is James Cook going to actually going to show up? How's he going to show up? Because he's doing the hold in for the contract situation. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's just from the outside. That's what I'm familiar with the Bills. James Cook got me to the fantasy championship game last year, so I'm plugged into him. But other than that, they're on the other side of the coast, and obviously they're good, but they keep falling short. Kind of reminds me of my own team, so I feel a little bit of kindred spirit there, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a few teams, right? I think the Eagles are announced to be a part of it as well on an episode. So um, I don't think it's all Buffalo Bills, but it is centered around them. But I think it's kind of what they did
They're
the
going to be the
last couple
focus.
years.
They're,
Yeah.
yeah, they're the focal point, as from what I understand in the brief
Well,
little thing that showed up on my phone before I swiped it away.
the Buffalo Bills and a bunch of other teams can get one of these bad boys because they all try to vote against the tush push. So
Yeah, that's where I was heading to next. The tush push survives. We thought it was gonna be gone. We thought the NFL was getting soft, but the Eagles, with the support of 9 other teams, they're able to keep the tush push alive for at least one more season. You had the Ravens, the Browns, the Lions, Jaguars, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, and Titans. So it sounds like the Eagles and the Ravens and the Lions, oddly enough, they kind of came together and got a bunch of bottom dwellers to join them in their push for whatever reason.
Well, I think
I'm not.
the Jaguars voting. I think Doug Peterson, third degree connection there, kind of helped out, and I think the Lions, same thing, third degree connection there going on with some coaches there. But I will say it is the one of the interesting stats is a lot of the teams that voted against it are on the Eagles' schedule this year, to the exception of the Lions. So hats off to the Lions. Stick taps around for them.
Yeah, yeah.
I have just kind of perused around the internets, and look, it's not like overwhelmingly like, oh, we're so upset, but it seems like a lot of fan bases whose team voted against the tush push are just a little bummed that their team didn't have the moxie to feel like they could figure out how to stop it. What are your sentiments about your team voting against it?
Jed York is, I mean, he's gotten better as an owner, but I still don't trust him, and like he doesn't have his pulse, to the ground for like the fan level. And I'll tell you what, I'm not thrilled that he voted against it. I've been on this show saying, hey, we're one of the teams that, didn't perfect stopping it, but we did a lot better at stopping it than a lot of other teams in recent years. This last year notwithstanding, because the entire team basically fell apart last year. But that being said, I'm glad it's sticking around. I'm glad that Jed York is in the wrong, he's not getting what he wants. Let's phrase it like that. He's not getting what he wants out of that. And I think he was trying to, trying to be selfish, take away a weapon from another team, because Brock Purdy's not a, mobile rushing type quarterback. He can scramble a bit and he can make some noise, and he can cut loose a little bit. But he's not, Jalen Hurts, squatting 8,000 pounds, so that
I guess one of my favorite takeaways
benefit the Niners, he's voting against it, I guess, and that was probably the mindset he went in with. It's soft. I don't like it, but
that's the sentiment, guys. A lot of fans thought it was soft that their ownership voted against it.
I'm calling Sharman, man. I'm calling Sharman on the play. Like, it is soft.
Well, I do appreciate Jerry Jones's comment. God, it was hard to say, but hey, he earned it, man. He said, am I voting against the Eagles having an advantage because I don't like the Eagles? Basically, heck yeah. I mean, like, yeah, Jerry, that you definitely should be voting against it. Of anybody else, you should be the one voting against it.
Right? No, totally.
And if you did it, you're gonna have some Cowboy fans turn on you real quick.
Right? Yeah. So that being said, you get to keep running your fun little play for 3rd and 1. It's not exciting football. I'll say that it's not exciting, but also to like when there hasn't been any proven danger to try to rule that it's a dangerous play and try to get eliminated that way.
There's only been one player that got hurt. Okay. And it came in the Super Bowl because Chris Jones thought it was a great idea to line up sideways, and then he got trampled over and his neck got hurt.
Yeah, well,
that's human error. That ain't football.
Yeah, he was trying something different, and that different didn't work. So, let's give a RIP to Jim Irsay. He passed away this last week. He's the owner of the Colts. It sounds like he already kind of had a succession plan in place with his daughters. Like, they have been, basically running the team the last decade while he's just kind of been a figurehead anyway. So, functionally, I don't see much changing for the Colts. Like it's still the day-to-day operation type stuff. That's they're not going to be affected in any way.
Are you
concerned? It sounds like.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Are you saying this year? Not you're saying. Just bouncing off of you here. Let's say Anthony Richardson does not have a good year this year. You cutting ties and you're calling him a bust, or you're saying,
Yeah, no, I already think he is a bust. I would have cut ties already, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't have drafted him because he was way too inaccurate. And people that show up like Josh Allen did with the accuracy problems, they don't do what Josh Allen did normally.
Yeah, that's an anomaly.
They just stay inaccurate and then they turn into a bust. So yeah, he's the exception, not the rule, and Anthony Richardson is kind of proving that. I will say I listened to a different podcast. It's called Sports Bitches, actually, and one of the women on that show, Megan Gailey, she's a stand-up comedian, and she's actually from Indiana, and the Colts are her team, and so she actually talked a little bit about this, this situation because Jim Irsay, passed away, and so she said, like, obviously he had his demons and whatever, but he was very open about it, and it sounds like a lot of the fans. He was open about it, and he was upfront, and he was always like, out at like homeless shelters, like handing out cash and stuff, and like taking care of that kind of stuff. And it sounds like he was, for being a billionaire, he was, fairly good to the community, by and large.
Yeah,
not a lot of people complained about him. So
I'm in another fantasy football group that I've been with for about 14 years now. Wow, time flies. One of them is a resounding Colts fan through and through. He bleeds blue. Yeah, he said the same thing. I mean, like, Jim Irsay he was up front, but the thing with Jim Irsay is that he could also fly off the handle any minute, any moment.
Right.
Like the whole situation with their running back, like, that was Irsay. That wasn't the family.
Yeah.
That was Irsay. So, you get it came with the good, it also came with the bad. So,
right. Yeah. So obviously, sad for the family and the Colts at large. They're already, I'm sure, working on a patch for him for their uniforms for this season. They may have already had it. I don't even know. So yeah, obviously that's a situation that they'll be dealing with. And anytime anybody's playing the Colts on the road, I'm sure the home stadium is gonna, they're gonna say something about it. So
sure.
Yeah. There was one last thing I wanted to talk about in the football section, and it's my kicker, Jake Moody. Last season,
won me a championship.
Yeah. Last season, in the final 9 games of the year, he missed 9 of his 20 attempts. So for a conversion rate, that's 55%. Excuse me, 55%. That being said,
miss
not
number
good.
11 won me my championship. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah. not good. Not good. So before he had an ankle injury, he was coming back from an ankle injury after that. Before the ankle injury, he was 13 of 14. And then he got hurt in week 5 when he was trying to make a tackle. Maybe that'll learn him. You're the kicker. You don't make tackles. That's not your job. I get, like we all love the effort. We all love to see it. But then when something like this happens, he came back and he was just not right.
Not everyone's Pat McAfee, man. You don't get that highlight reel.
Yeah. So he's been retooling his kicking motion going forward. He's basically, since middle school, it sounds like he's been doing this like 3-step approach where it's like the first step is kind of a stutter and then a go. Like it's like a stutter and then
so kind of like a PK.
1 and then 2, 3 kick.
Kind of like a PK.
A little bit, yeah. So it sounds like now he's getting rid of the stutter step and he's just going to do those straight 2-step approach, 1, 2, kick. Okay. And so he's been working on that. It sounds like, and he's basically giving up a little bit of distance, trading it for accuracy. Okay. He's been working with a kicking coach. It sounds like it's still going well. It sounds like it's going well, and he's still able to hit 65. So I mean, he came out. He was somebody who has.
He can't hit 70 anymore, but he can hit 65.
Yeah. He doesn't have like, if he's very, very lucky and he's with the wind, he might still be able to get 70. But he's, I mean, this is the stuff that I would like to hear. The Niners did sign a veteran kicker. I don't remember his name. He's been on like 6 teams in 6 years.
This is Moody's last year, right? This is it. Right.
Well, this is his make or break year, I believe. Yeah. Right. It's his 3rd season, I believe. So, yeah. So this is like, if he's fixed it, if he's figured it out, this is going to be good. I'm glad he got it retooled. He got his mind right. And, may last year just be thrown into the dustbin of history with everything else about that season for the Niners. If it was just that, if he gets the yips again, I think this will be the last season with the Niners, and they'll probably cut him in the offseason or cut him earlier if there's another kicker that's actually available. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you
good.
think he doesn't make training camp if it's a situation of woes?
Well, if it's possible, if he misses, especially if he misses egregiously on like if he tries to get a 55-yarder and misses that, I'm not going to worry about it too much. But if he's missing a 35-yarder, if he misses an extra point during preseason, suddenly that seat gets a lot hotter. And if he misses a couple of them, I think he's cut. The way that they like started paying these players, like especially the Fred Warner restructure, the George Kittle, the Brock Purdy, they basically have set it up to open up a 2-year window for Super Bowl contention. Okay, so you got to think, and if the kicker is going to lose you games, they're not going to tolerate it right now at this point because they think that they've got 2 more years at it right now, the way it stands, the way the money is set up and everything. So I think that this is no patience time for the kicker, and it sounds like he's been working on getting it right. He's not, going full Janikowski, partying and then just showing up to kick to pay for the drinking habit.
Can't all be
no.
Yeah,
we can't all be Janikowski. Janikowski was a pro at that, a pro's pro. He could do it like not anybody else can. Like,
dude, I still think elite. I know Janikowski is one of the best kickers of all time. Like, we could arguably say that he probably is, right? Mm-hmm. If football never became his passion, he was a hockey player. Through and through, he was a hockey player. Like, I don't care what anyone is. He was probably a defensive end, checking people all day long.
Right. Sam's actually in the chat. He's not on today, but he is in the chat. He says, if we're talking kicking, AJ Cole is now the wealthiest punter in the league, signed a new deal with the Raiders, well-deserved all-pro. Punter getting paid. Love to see that,
Yeah, AJ Cole signed a $15.8 million contract, so heck yeah, man. He's definitely been one of the top.
Raiders got the money to spend. They're spending it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to go to the ether if you don't spend it, so you might as well spend it. So,
right. That's right.
Good for AJ Cole. He's definitely been one of the top punters in the league here, so.
Yeah, totally.
That's what the Raiders do, man. I don't know who their scouting department is, but even King was one of those punters that you're like, I can't believe he didn't make another roster afterwards. He was just so amazing fun to watch. On top of that, too. So
totally, he had too much of a personality. That was
I
the
agree.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, I think that'll do it for football. Seabass was actually a soccer player. Sam says. Last little joke in. Before,
I know he's a soccer player, but. He would have played hockey. He would have drank beer.
All right. That being said, I think it's time to switch gears to basketball. We'll talk a little bit about the playoffs. We have Oklahoma City. They get the win last night. They're up 3-1. Yeah. Minnesota couldn't quite close the deal. They got it real close. They were down big. They were down more than 10, like they were down like 12 or something at some point. I don't remember the exact number. I was kind of watching off and on.
Well, here's the debate, right? Mm-hmm. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has had more free throw attempts than Curry has in the entire playoffs of his career.
Right.
He's had more free throw attempts in 2 games than Curry's had his entire playoff.
Yeah, it's
he's getting a parity.
He's getting a ton of calls, a ton. It's kind of egregious, but yeah, Minnesota couldn't quite get the job done last night, so they're down 3-1. OKC is in the driver's seat. In the Eastern Conference, they're going to play tonight. Right now, the New York Knicks are down 2-1 to the Indiana Pacers. The resparking of an old rivalry from the 90s. There's been a lot of people talking about, the Reggie Miller doing the choke, and then Hallie did the choke thing, after game 1. I would have saved that for like a clinching game. I wouldn't have brought it out for game 1.
No, the Knicks choked that one. They were up.
No, I'm not disagreeing. They absolutely choked that game away. They absolutely did, and they deserve to get it. I'm just saying that's kind of like I would have kept that in the back pocket. I don't know if I would have brought that out for game 1.
I don't know, man. I think you go with the vibe. Reggie Miller is calling your game, and you do the move.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
That's
no.
cool.
I'm not saying it's not cool. Reggie would have been calling the game 5 or 6 or 7 whenever assuming they clinched. Reggie would still be on the call there. I was just saying, or even like save it for game 3. Like if you get your third win and like if they win tonight and they're up 3-1, I might have, like, if there was an opportunity to do it later in the series, I guess I would have saved it for a time later in the series. For your third win or your fourth win, either one of them. I just think doing it in the first game was a little bit odd.
Hey, man,
but
I just think it was,
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I do love
it,
and I love I love the reaction and everything after. Don't hear what I'm not saying.
I think it was a chef's kiss kind of move, and if Hallie would go and do it again, I think he would do it all the same. And
absolutely. No. He like I'm not saying I'm him. I'm just saying if I was in that situation, I probably, because of my personality, I probably keep that. I still do it, but I save it for further along in the series. That's all.
But I would say the biggest thing about the series is now, I think Naismith is now hurt, and that's kind of one of their better defenders. So I think that's kind of swaying the decision. He's got an ankle injury right now. So we'll see what that results to. But I think at the end of the day, I'm liking the Pacers. Look, I thought the Knicks are going to be a first-round exit. They proved me wrong. I'll eat crow on that one. But I still don't believe it, man. The Knicks they're going to nick it. It's going to happen. And I'm here for it when the Pacers do it.
They're going to go full Knicks at some point. Sam says the foul call disparity in the NBA is absolutely harming the game and soon viewership. It's pretty much agreed that the lottery is rigged. You have a history of foul calls favoring players or teams.
It's already affecting viewership. I mean, the viewership now is way down. Like, I'm not going to be, I guess you could call it biasy, whatever, but when the Warriors were playing, people were watching. And it wasn't because they wanted to watch the Warriors win. It's because they liked watching Curry. They could resonate with Curry. You know what I mean? So I think Knicks fans, the news of them just being absolute a-holes, at least, I'm not going to say all of them, but the ones that are being showcased.
A non-0%.
Yeah, that's not helping. Halliburton's dad situation, that's not helping.
Well, he's going to be allowed back into the back in now. So that suspension or whatever, it's been lifted.
Well, he can be only at Pacers games in a suite box. He cannot be.
Yeah, well, he's going to be in a suite.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be down on the floor, but
it's already down. Like, people watching Timberwolves and OKC, they're not even talking about the numbers because they're so bad. Nobody's watching them. The Knicks and Pacers games have a bit of good viewership because Knicks fans do, watch, and people want to watch the Knicks. But at the end of the day, it's nowhere near what it was. They're not even talking about numbers. That's how bad it's been for both of these conference finals. So, anyways, digress.
All right, so so let's bring it a little bit closer to home. Draymond Green is going to make his the NBA All Defense first team. That's his 9th overall selection to the All Defensive team, and 5 of those have been first team selections. Hall of Fame defender, if I've ever seen one. Tell you what,
the Hall of Fame badge.
Steph Curry makes his Steph Curry makes the All NBA second team. That's his 11th total selection. That's his 5th time on the second team. Warriors also announced this past Thursday that Moses Moody underwent successful surgery on the torn ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, in his right thumb, and is expected to be ready in time for next season's training camp.
So maybe that's why he couldn't shoot.
Yeah, he tore something at some point. Clearly,
I guess we always have to remember that, right? As fans, we're always clowning our players. There might be something else, Who knows? Maybe Butler dislocated his hip, and that's why he wasn't shooting. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah. There's always more to the story. They only report what they absolutely have to.
Yes.
And since he was playing, they didn't report it. They didn't have to. They didn't say, "Oh, he's dealing with the thumb thing." The only thumb thing we knew about was Steph's, and that was because he was wearing a cast. So we knew about that. But
Sam says the NBA will be so happy to have Oklahoma and Indiana, a ratings juggernaut. I can hear his facetious comment all
More
over
like
again.
slumber not. Oh, got him.
Oh, they want
Okay.
the Knicks to win so bad. So don't worry, Scott Foster will probably referee the next 3 games for the Knicks.
He's getting at least one of them. I'm sure of it. You put a note in here. Ongoing Kerr and JK situations says that it
Yeah,
might be hard to fit JK into the current starting roster, but that him being around here for the offseason will help sway that. So you asked the question: does Kerr fail growing young talent?
yeah, I think it's a
And
great question.
that absolutely, I think that's a good question to ask because we can look at the scoreboard. Which of the young talent players that we've drafted, or like basically since Kerr has come on as head coach, um, which of them has actually like stuck around? Looney.
Looney, I would say that's right.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
but outside of his core, right? Like
yeah. Well, well,
Draymond,
well,
Clay,
no,
Steph.
he drafted Looney was something that like he was around when he was drafted. Like Kerr was around when he was drafted.
Okay, I
When he
see
was
what you're
drafted.
saying.
So,
I see what you're saying.
so I'm saying since Steve Kerr joined the team in 2014, who's the young player that has grown into an all-star or or a solid contributing type player? And it's
Yeah,
Looney. The list starts and ends with Looney. I think everybody else, I mean, you can
you
just
had
look down the
Poole.
list.
Poole got
Yeah,
shipped out.
yeah, Poole got paid, but then they shipped him out the following season. McCaw, he
Hey,
was long
McCollum's a
gone.
2-time NBA champion.
Yeah, he sure
just
is.
wasn't the perennial player. But yeah, he got shipped out.
He was the 12th
Um,
guy on the bench for 2 different teams. Yeah.
James Wiseman, although that was technically Lakeup's pick.
Yeah, Lakeup ended up putting his thumb on the scale for that one, but even still, like he wasn't able to develop. And is he even in the league?
So
Did
he
Detroit
got
move on
hurt.
from him?
He got hurt with Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Signed with Indiana in the offseason, and then Indiana cut him, and then he went to Toronto, and then they cut him. So technically, he's not in the league.
He's not on the team right now. He's not on the roster right now. Yeah, so that's a bust. I mean, yeah, I'm just going through my mind. I don't recall. So yeah,
I think Pods is probably your closest one, but even then,
yeah.
we have question marks with Pods because it's like, I think Pods has question marks. Like Pods came in as a sharpshooter, and then all of a sudden he could do defensive things, and Kerr was like, "Cool, I want you to do defensive things," and the shot will just come. Well, the shot didn't really come, and it still hasn't really come. I'll be honest with you, there's some nights where he's a Buddy Hield, So I think Kerr likes him because defensively he does what he would like, but yeah, I still think out of that, I mean, it's probably about it.
Sam in the chat says Kerr said it in the interview. It's hard to give young guys minutes when you have Hall of Famer and 3 out of 5 starting roles. That's a fair point too. I mean, minutes are a little bit harder to come by for the young guys, but at some point there's got to be a line. You got to start. If you're not getting
Draymond
playing
cannot
time,
be playing 35 minutes a game going forward. He cannot. Like, he can, but if you're wanting to go deep into the playoffs, he cannot. Like, he has to.
Yeah, I would love
figure out a way.
I would love if Draymond was a 30 minutes or less player. But because he's so important defensively, obviously they haven't been able to do that, and that.
But like, how much
then
is
it
that
circles
on
back
Kerr?
to the development.
Yeah, how much is that on
egg,
Kerr telling Draymond, like, "Hey, look, I can only coach these guys so much defensively. You and Jerry Stackhouse on another level than what I could ever teach you defensively." Steve Kerr was not a defensive-minded player. He was clearly offense, right? So I would come to Draymond and be like, you need to train these guys, because if you want to play less minutes, they have to get better. And sometimes you're just going to have to roll with that. They're going to make mistakes, and it's going to bother you so much that you want to beat your head against the wall. But you just got to have to roll with it, because guess what? You did the same thing. When David Lee went out, you made a bunch of mistakes. Can anyone tell me when Draymond would dribble the ball up the court, you didn't hold on to your pants because you thought he was going to turn the ball over every single time? Okay,
That first,
I
yeah,
that
when
like
he
it was
first started
yesterday.
starting, yeah, it
Yeah.
was a little, yeah, it was a little shaky for sure. Yeah, so this is a great question, and I think it's something that we should, kind of keep checking in on as we go. And yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. Can Pajemski kind of break this curse? It's been Looney and nobody else, so to speak. And I'm not counting current players on the team, like current young guys on the team, because this is Pajemski's second year. So starting next year, if he gets the shot, fixed or whatever in the off season, and he's able to bring the defense along with him, then all of a sudden, okay, sure, great. You've that's another guy you've developed that brings the total to two, uh, which
But
isn't a
two,
lot,
yeah, two out of
but
like let's say 12 guys, maybe.
mhm.
But you know what?
Yeah, I
Kurt
mean,
loves his
eh,
role players, man. He
yeah,
loves them.
and he brings it's kind of tough, like for second round draft picks, especially like you can't really expect almost none of them turn into what Draymond turned into,
Exactly. They're not all
Yeah,
Draymond.
so that is another exception that proves the rule kind of thing. So I mean, I'm not gonna blame him for not developing Alan Smiley-Geach. Like that's not on.
With that being said, though, Post has to put some weight on, right? Because I'm
Yeah,
telling you right now, there was no reason why he shouldn't have been in that Minnesota series. He was absolutely disappeared, milk carton, put an APB
mhm,
on him, couldn't find him.
yeah, yeah. Time to hit the gym and put the big boy weights on.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a good discussion. I think we need to keep coming back to it. Every couple of weeks, just check in on that. So, thank you for adding that in. We're gonna switch over to the Valkyries. This past week, we're gonna start with the two games that completed before we started recording. Uh, they get the win against the Washington Mystics on Wednesday, 75-74. That was a really close one, but they get the job done. Tiffany Hayes got injured in the second quarter and did not return to the game. She had a nose injury. They follow that up on Friday. They go down to LA to play the Sparks. They get a 9-point win down there. Tiffany Hayes didn't even travel with the team. Neither did Monique Billings. So they played, shorthanded two players, but they were able to get the job done there as well. And then, unfortunately, as we were talking, the game against the New York Liberty just wrapped up. They took a massive loss. It was a 28-point beatdown. That
To be
just
expected, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the New York Liberty are the defending champions. They're playing in New York, and
You
they
mean you mean you're
yeah,
talking about Valkyrie's future point guard in Sabrina Ionescu?
we'll see about that. We're getting a little. Let's not get crazy yet. Let's finish out this
Sabrina, you
season.
want a
They were
contract? I'll sign you. I got money to blow.
Valkyries actually, before this game tipped off, they were number one in the W in defensive rating. Like they've really like turned like they play a really good brand of defense. Unfortunately, they got tested and failed that test tonight against the New York Liberty. Earlier in the show, if you've seen me looking up, that was me taking a look at the score just to kind of see. They
Hey,
cut it down to in the fourth quarter. They got it down to about 11, I think, was the lowest that I saw. But then the Liberty just kind of put the just kind of took it into overdrive and just
well, they
ended up
the
pulling
Liberty. I
away
mean,
late.
Valkyries still have a better record than the Chicago Sky. That has
Yeah,
been
so
a
yeah, they're
dumpster fire.
currently 2-2 on the season now, including tonight's loss. Before tonight's loss, as of the standings last night, they were sitting in fourth in the Western Conference. So that's pretty good. Even with the loss, they're going to be fifth, maybe. Uh, so yeah, there's still the Connecticut Sun, the Chicago Sky, the Dallas Wings. All three of those teams heading into tonight's games still did not have a win.
If you
So
have not seen it, do yourself a favor. But Chicago Sky's last game, not the one they're going to play tonight. I don't know what I was watching, but that was like first year of WNBA basketball level of what the hell is going on. Angel Reese got like 5 rebounds on one play
Yeah.
because she just decided to not pass her teammates and take on the entire defending team and got blocked 3 times. And then at the end, after her 5th attempt, decided to pass out. Well, all of her teammates were just standing behind the 3-point line, just watching the whole thing. So I don't know what I just watched, but that was probably the most abysmal basketball I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
But that being said, the Valkyries still have a better record than Chicago Sky. So
Yeah. So there's still plenty of room to go. Rick Diaz in the chat. He's from Chicago. He says, "How's it going, Rick?" Yeah, thanks. New. I had to buy a new one. At the top of the show, we talked about it. I've lost a little bit of weight, so I had to go with the snapback to be able to adjust to my shrinking head. So so that's kind of that's where that is. He's a diehard Niners fan. Yeah. So this is great. And he also gave us an update on the Pacers.
I'm sorry I just talked smack about your WNBA team. I hope they turn it around.
Yeah. So since the Valkyries game just ended, I flipped it over to the multi-view. So I got the hockey game and the basketball game. We got the conference finals for both happening. Yeah, so it's a close game right now. Pacers Knicks, they're tied up in the second, excuse me. 1 minute left. So that's I think that's just upcoming schedule for the Valkyrie. They got another game at the New York Liberty on Thursday, and then they're at home against the Minnesota Lynx on Sunday. So we'll keep an eye on those. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna switch gears over to soccer. We're gonna talk about the NWSL. We're talking Bay FC again. They get the draw at the Houston Dash on Saturday. Abby Dahlkemper got her 150th NWSL appearance, so stick taps to Abby. For the game itself, Houston takes an early lead takes a lead in the 33rd minute. Avery Patterson, who's been getting some call-ups to the U.S. women's national team recently, she just ripped home a shot up and away from the edge of the middle of the 18-yard box. In the 53rd minute, Penelope Hawking for Bay FC received a pass on the left side. She turns it, takes a step forward, and then just rips home a goal. It's the third straight game for her scoring. And then 3 minutes later, Rachel Hill gets a goal. Rachel Kundananji forced a turnover, and then she beats the goalkeeper in the middle of the box. The ball kind of squirted away when she beat her, though. Rachel Hill happened to be collapsing in and just kind of took the shot and fired it home. So
nice.
So that was great. Bay FC was up 2-1, and then in the 88th minute, Chaos League went full Chaos League, and then Bright in for Houston, she had a transition moment that led to a goal. She took the ball across the box and beat Dahlkemper, and then beat Zilkowitz on a perfectly placed shot. And it was a little deflating watching that game. They were up, and then they just kind of they started to pack it in a little bit too soon, I think, and Abby wasn't fast enough to make to stop the play, and then it was a perfect shot. Silkowitz has been playing really well, so well in fact that she just got called into the under 23s for the
nice team. Man,
she's going to Germany
hell yeah, man.
So that being said, unfortunate, they did end up losing, getting the draw, so they're currently sitting in 11th place in the NWSL. If they would have held on to that win, they'd be sitting in 7th. So that goal is crushing. They would have you were sitting in 7th basically, and you fall all the way to 11th by allowing that goal and it being a draw instead of a win. Ugh. So that being said, upcoming this next week is an international break, and then after that they'll be playing the Portland Thorns on Saturday at home. Let's see. So and I mentioned it. Silkowitz is getting called into Germany for the U.S. Women's National Team camp. There's going to be 2 games played out in Germany against the German national team, and they only called in 2 goalkeepers, so she's going to get to play in one of those games. So going to be able to get some experience, and we've talked about it a lot of times. Emma Hayes is trying to basically widen the pool of players to call in for any situation ahead of the World Cup in 2027. And this is part of that process, is getting players mixed in with the under 23s as well as the national team itself. Yeah, okay, we can go ahead, and I guess we're gonna switch and talk about just the while we're here. Let's talk about the national teams as well. Tim, we got that image, I believe, right? And um, so upcoming games, the U.S. women's national team is playing China on the 31st, and then they're playing Jamaica on June 3rd. And then the U.S. men's national team also dropped their roster. There's a couple of noticeable absences
There's going
from
to be quite a
both
few.
rosters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the men's side, um, let's see, Weston McKinney, Tim Weah, and Gio Reyna are playing in the FIFA Club World Cup, so they're not on. Musa asked for Yunus Musa asked to be excused due to personal reasons. Um, let's see who else. Oh, Josh Sargent was a coach's choice. Anthony Robinson has dealt with numerous injuries this season with Fulham, and he just needed a break. And Christian Pulisic requested to get the summer off after playing another 50-game campaign for AC Milan. They had a bunch of European games on top of their Italian Serie A.
Yeah, I don't blame
games.
that. So Sargent was one of the bright spots for Norwich, I believe it is.
Yeah, I think he's in Norwich. So yeah,
he helped them get to promotion on that one. So I'm not mad at that. I think there's a few injuries. Yeah, I'm gonna play some cups. I get it, but I guess the biggest concern is that Poach don't have a lot of time to coach these kids and
yeah, the World Cup
chemistry.
The World Cup is 13 months away now at this point. Yeah, and that's part of the sacrifice, right? Like, you want to get everybody kind of on the same page, playing together, feeling comfortable with each other. But unfortunately, when you look at the last Gold Cup, they were a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too laxed, and that was part of the downfall of Greg Berhalter. Was they weren't taking it seriously. They were off, hanging out with their friends and having, going to dinner and having wine and all that fun stuff. They weren't like really taking it seriously, and it sounds like Poach is at least getting that part of it right. He's, clamping down a little bit and just like, you're here to work, guys. Let's put in some work. So I'm glad to see that part of it. I wish that some of these other players would have been able to come into the camp as well. But I mean, I get it. Like Christian Pulisic, like it's over the last 2 seasons, I think I saw that he's played 120 games between club and country. So if giving him this summer off means that he's a little bit fresher for the World Cup when we really, really need him next year, I get it. And that's fine. And, you learn to live with it. If you're sacrificing the Gold Cup this year to be able to actually make some noise in the World Cup next year, fine. So be it.
I just want to see, all I want to see is who is going to step up to be that second scorer. Are we just going to constantly run a one on the forward there? You can't. I think you're just going to zero in on Pulisic, and world teams are much better at being able to defend because they're the best of the best of their country.
Well, yeah, Balogun is healthy finally. So like I guess he's gonna get one of the first shots, cracks at it, trying to be that guy. And he's shown flashes. We've talked about it a lot in all kinds of sports, showing flashes. But yeah, we need to see that consistency, and this is going to be a chance for him to prove consistency. 1 year out, it's go time. So if you're going to be serious about making the World Cup team, making an impact in the World Cup, instead of just being, you play your group stages and then bow out, like I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So if you're going to make some noise at this World Cup, like a lot of people think you should. Everybody keeps saying how this is like the most talent the U.S. men's national team has had on a roster in a long, long time. It's time to prove it. It's time to prove that depth. Time to prove, the top end is prove the top end is good, and also prove that you got guys that can step in when your top end players are down. Guys that can step in and do the job. And like it's coming. It's time. So it's time to see. And honestly, like we'll see what Poach can do. I'm not sure that I would blame it on him if they end up not succeeding, like because it's on the players at some point, right? The players have to do the job. Um, if he's making all the right moves and the players just aren't doing it, what can you do?
Not
That being
much. Not
said, we'll
much.
see what the moves are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, on the women's side for the U.S. women's national team, as far as players called in versus not called in, Tara McKeown, the last window, she did not have a particularly strong show against Brazil, but she did get called in again this time. So I think Emma is looking at club performance along with the what players do internationally. So you kind of like to see that at least, like one bad game or one bad camp is not going to necessarily end it for you. I look at in the midfield, somebody like Olivia Moultrie, who is a teenager still. She's like 18 or 19.
That's
She was
crazy.
getting a lot of run in 2023 before Emma Hayes came on. This is like the first camp that she's been called in for a while, so she's getting another look. I love to see that. Lo Labonta, the queen of goal sellies, gets called in as well in the midfield, so you get to see that. Assuming she gets a goal, there's going to be something fun. So stay tuned for that. Another interesting thing is Giselle Thompson and Alyssa Thompson, the sisters that play for Angel City. Giselle is a defender, but she was called in as a forward for this camp. So so that's kind of interesting to me.
They must know
And then
something we don't know.
yeah. I mean, she must have loved that sister connection for that goal a couple weeks ago. So that's kind of fun. And also, she who must not be named is playing with the under 23s instead of the U.S. national team instead. So whatever, we'll see. So she's not completely out of camp yet, but for those of you who don't know, I'm talking about Corbin Albert. So. Yeah, so we'll see what shakes out there. So she's not completely off of the team yet. She's not completely out yet. But the fact that she's been somebody who was on the national team for several camps in a row, and all of a sudden she's now with the under 23s instead, I would view that as a demotion.
Yeah, I would.
That's a warning shot for her at the very least. And so I love to see that. We'll see what happens going forward there. Yeah. Okay. I think we need to move on. Let's see to hockey. Yes, we're going to hockey. Okay. I have some notes here on hockey. The Stanley Cup date. We have the game right now. Edmonton is playing Dallas right now. They are currently up 1-0 at the start of the second period. They're up 2-1 in the series. So Dallas needs to, if they don't get this win, they're in a world of trouble. Speaking of world of trouble,
not the one I'm upset about.
Carolina was able to win the last game. That draws the series to 3-1. Florida's still up. So, I'm glad that Carolina was able to get a W at some point, and it wasn't just a straight sweep. They had lost 15 games in a row in the conference finals. So they snapped that losing streak. Good for them. Basically they had not won a game since they went to and won the Stanley Cup back in 2006. Anytime since then, if they got to the third round of the Eastern Conference Finals, they lost every single game. So they snapped that streak. We'll see if they can do a reverse sweep on the Florida Panthers. I wouldn't get my hopes up on that one, but if they get the win this coming game and they were able to close it to 3-2, now you can start to say, now you can start thinking about it. Until further notice, though, just assume that Florida is going to win and they're going to play the Edmonton Dallas winner in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, brutal.
Okay. Don't love that. So that being said, there is some Sharks news kind of happening here and there. We had a couple of people out in Europe playing in the World Championships and coaching in the World Championships. So Will Smith and Team USA, they get the gold. It's the first time U.S. has got gold in 92 years.
That's so
1933. For reference, the year that the evil mustache man took over Germany was 1933. So that was the last time that the U.S. won. Was like evil mustache man hadn't started mustache manning all over Europe yet. Okay, that's the last time that the U.S. won this tournament. Okay, I'm trying to not get us like flagged for bad things. But you guys know what I'm saying here. Anyway, so Will Smith has now won gold for USA at the under 18 World Junior Championships. He's won it for the under 20 World Junior Championships, and now just the straight up World Championships. He's gotten gold at 3 different levels. So he's 20 years old. It's quite the international resume that that our man Will Smith is. He's getting jiggy with this gold, man.
Yeah. They didn't advance, but Matt got one hell of a one-on-one mentoring this off season here, so can't be upset with Sid the Kid telling you how good your game is and teach you how to win face-offs. I think you couldn't pick a worse mentor to help you out in the off season.
yeah. So let's see. Yeah, they were also the youngest team in the entire tournament as well. Mm-hmm. So a lot of good young talent in America for hockey, so that's good. And Ryan Warsofsky, along with Sharks goalie coach Thomas Spear and video coach Nick Gialdini, they all were on the coaching staff, and Warsaw was like the head coach, I believe. So they get gold too. So we got some Sharks coming home with some hardware. Love to see that.
I'm just saying, maybe we need to get them an open face Sharks helmet that they can use in the locker room there, because watching the video of them handing out the American flag themed hat or helmet, I should say, and just going nuts with it. If that doesn't build any inspiration, I don't know what it is, man, because that was cool, man. We need to get a Sharks version of that one. Celebrate 10 wins, 20 wins, 30 wins, celebrate a playoff berth. That helmet needs to come out every single time.
Right. I do want to play a quick little game. Free agency is on its way. For the new free agents, unrestricted free agents. Jonathan Tavares in 2018, he ended up choosing the Leafs over the Sharks.
Yep.
In 2018, he signed with the hometown team, gave them a discount, so he took $11 million per year for 7 years to sign with the Leafs instead of $13 million a year for 7 years to play with the Sharks. Since he signed that deal, both teams, the Sharks and the Maple Leafs, have won the same amount of playoff games. Now, just to remind you all, the Sharks haven't been in the playoffs since 2019. So the Sharks had 2 years of playoffs. The Leafs have been in the playoffs every single year. Same number of W's in the playoffs since then. Brutal.
That sucks,
Sharks
man.
maybe dodged. Yeah, it sucks for John Tavares. It sucks for the Leafs fans. It's funny for everybody else, though. It's pure comedy that the Leafs find themselves on the precipice of not having their names being on the cup. And that'll be the first time that an original 6 team won't be on the Stanley Cup if they don't win the cup. I think next season, maybe the season after. Like it's getting real close. Like they're about to take that ring off and put a new ring on it because they have to cycle through. If they didn't cycle through, the Stanley Cup would be 84 feet tall. So yeah, that 1964 team or whenever the hell that was that they won, like that ring is about to come off the cup. So
yeah,
if they don't win it soon, it's going to be trouble for that, and that's going to be the wrong kind of history to make. But it's comedy, so happy Leafs not winning the Stanley Cup day. To those who celebrate. Just looking up right now, Dallas is on the power play. And they score. Oh my God. I didn't even
real
plan
time.
That. Oh my God. Oh wow. So it is we're tied up 1-1. So Dallas is taking it seriously, unlike the Maple Leafs. It's 13 minutes to go in the second period.
Shots
so
fired
it's
to
tied
the Maple
game.
Leafs, man.
They're just come on, man. you've been in the playoffs every year since 2018, and you can't match the Sharks win total. God, I mean, you can't surpass the Sharks win total. You matched it. Apologies.
Well,
Apologies to the Maple Leafs.
this is why people don't want this is why they don't want Marner on the team, man.
Yeah, just a part of that whole Toronto stink.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's coming.
paid so much money to recoup nothing, and now Marner's a free agent. Tavares is a free agent. Um, uh, Big forehead man. I'm drawing a blank. He's gonna be a free agent next year. So yeah,
Right.
it's not a good time to be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. So to say the least. Um, we
Uh,
got we got
Pacers.
a
Oh,
we got a couple of minutes here.
go
I
ahead.
just wanted to reference it because I don't want to miss it for another week here. But
Yeah.
Pete Rose gets in under the stupidest stipulations I ever heard in my
Well,
life.
he's not in yet. He's just
Not in
eligible
yet,
to be
but
elected. He's not in yet, but
he's gonna.
he's eligible.
I think he's getting in. I think he's getting in. At this point, he's dead. It's been a long time coming. He didn't bet as a player, bet as a manager. We all know that. We all know the situation. I do think the
That picture
pulse
of
the
Manfred
pulse of
makes
the
me laugh.
Reds the Reds ownership was not there when they decided to post a tribute to him alongside of an MGM ad billboard. So that wasn't really smart. God,
Mm,
like if you could just cover that one up, maybe put like a Reds logo over it, and then when the ads over, the memorabilia
yeah.
is over, rip the
And,
flag
and
down.
for the record, it wasn't just Pete Rose that Rob Manfred made eligible. It's also Shoeless Joe Jackson and other deceased players from the ineligible list. He ruled that MLB's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. They are now presumably eligible for election into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So,
Well, Barry, you got a ways to
and
go.
Pete Rose's Pete Rose's time is not going to be this coming ballot. It'll be the ballot after that because the way the competition committee votes on these, it's like they take it in eras, and
Yeah.
Pete Rose's era is not up this coming season. It's the
I
following season.
wonder
So
voters.
still a little bit of time for waiting.
I wonder voters, unless you're like, I'll be careful what number I say here. Let's say you're late 50s, maybe 60s, right?
Mhm.
Do you even remember what Shoeless Joe Jackson did? We do because we did research on a project that we were trying to do with the A's until that all came apart. But I mean, like, do people really remember what Shoeless Joe Jackson and the Sox did? I don't think people even remember. Like, if he's eligible and you're gonna go, well, I'm not gonna vote him because he was banned for like
Gambling, yeah,
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, can they remember? Like, can they remember? I don't know.
yeah.
I think you're getting to the point where like these guys may get in just because the voters might not even remember what the hell they were excommunicated for.
Yeah, they also just might be in an effort mood, and or whatever. Like I honestly I don't know, and it's not like the regular voters. It's like a special committee that does it as well. So uh, who knows? Like honestly, I would like to hope that they still have to wait a little bit. I don't want them in their first year of eligibility to get in either. I think it would be pure comedy at this point actually if the competition committee comes back in a couple of years and says not this time Pete Rose, maybe next time we'll catch you again in 3 more years maybe. Like I just I think that that I would find that hilarious. And here's the other thing. Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame. Like a lot of stuff of Pete Rose's, like he's
Hit
got like
records, yeah,
3 dozen. There's like 3 dozen mentions of Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. What's
yeah,
not in the Hall of Fame is the stupid freaking bust of his face and the little
yeah.
like plaque that says everything he did.
Well, I would say
I
this.
think so that being said, I think he will eventually get in, and I just hope like hell that they include that he was banned for life and was only inducted after he died because of
Yeah.
gambling offenses. Like I want
Well,
that to be made part of it. If you're going to tell the story of baseball, which is what the Hall of Fame is, that's part of the story. The good stuff and the bad stuff. You can't just say, "Oh, he's the all-time hits leader," and we're not going to talk about what happened in the 80s. You know,
like well, at least in the at least when he was betting on his team to win, right? If you're going to go, well, what's the difference between Shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete Rose? Shoeless Joe Jackson was shoeless because they didn't have any money, so he bet on losing games to take money to win in the World Series. Pete Rose was betting to win, but he was a manager.
Right. Yeah. And I mean,
it wasn't a play.
Either way, it's gross and I hate it and I don't like it. That being said, there's guys that have done a lot worse things that are in the Hall of Fame as well. There are some pure
look up Babe
evil.
Ruth.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
look up Babe Ruth, and you're gonna realize.
I was actually going Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb too, yeah.
Ty Cobb was worse than Babe Ruth in my opinion. But
both of them were not shining stars of excellence.
No. So, it's like there are some not so good people in the Hall of Fame. If you're gonna let the gamblers in, I think it's time to let the steroid guys in. So I think it's Barry's time. In fact, I want Barry in. I want Barry in before because technically he wasn't breaking the rules when he did it.
Look,
the rules came in right after he did it.
We said this a whole bunch of times. Did he take steroids? Yes. Did he hit the ball a fucking country mile? Yes. But there's something that he did better than everybody else. He hit a 2-inch white ball moving better than anybody else did and anybody else ever will.
He hit a sphere with a cylinder better and further than anybody more often than not. And yeah, so I mean, and we're former A's fans. We're not Giants fans. We don't really have a dog in this fight, you know? But Barry absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Just because he was a prick to you doesn't, you know, like that's why he was kept out essentially, because there are steroid users in the Hall now.
Yeah.
I mean, and A-Rod is going to be on his way to the Hall. He's like rehabbed his image somehow, some way. I don't know how. Being a Yankee
because he became an owner, helps. So he's in the club.
He's in the club now. He's like doing the broadcasts. So that's kind of how he rehabbed his image a bit, and he's going to eventually get in, even though he was a steroid user. And there are other guys that have been caught using steroids and they're in. And now it's time for Barry and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. It's time to let them in.
Mike Piazza.
You know? If you're going to let the gamblers, in, let Roger Clemens in, you know, like,
yeah, Roger Clemens was also Roger Clemens was a pretty good POS himself too.
He was a red ass for sure.
He also pulled a Brett Favre move with that with some of that free money that they were giving out in 2020.
There's a whole range of players in the Hall of Fame for every sport, from the Boy Scouts to the pure freaking villains. So you got to let them all in at this point.
I agree.
The path has been cleared. It's time to stop playing these stupid little holier than thou games. If you're gonna let one of them in, you got to let them all in, and it's there. Like, it's gonna happen.
I mean, I'd be down to go to the Hall of Fame, and they'd be like steroid era, and these are the players that were super good at it. And you'd be like, yeah, we know they're doing steroids, and they were damn good. It was fun to watch.
Honestly, the best thing that happened to Barry Bonds was Roger Clemens.
Really
because then it's like, it's not just the hitters that were doing it. It was the pitchers.
Yeah,
you know?
took the heat.
Andy Pettitte used HGH, and he was able to extend his career by like 5-6 years. He was pitching pretty well in Houston. So, anyway, okay. So I think we've said our piece on that. That being absolutely. Said, I think we've had a hell of a show, and it's time to wrap this baby up.
It's time to say goodbye, y'all.
With that said,
we'll miss
that's
you.
Right.
We'll see you next week.
Edmonton did just score. It looks like Edmonton is up 2-1 now, but Dallas is on the power play, so we'll see what happens again. Just kind of keep an eye on that. And the Pacers are up 8. Pacers are up 8 in the third quarter as we go in game 4.
Well, for Rick Diaz,
so
which
with
sounds
that,
like a dope wrestling name, let's go Pacers, baby.
That's right. Thanks for hanging out, Rick. Sam, sorry you couldn't be on the show, but thanks for hanging out in the chat. And thank you for listening. If you're listening on a podcast version, subscribe on YouTube and hang out with us when we go live, normally on Mondays, but yesterday was a holiday, so we took the extra day, and here we are now. Subscribe on YouTube. Like I said, get the bell. If you don't have time to listen to the full show, we break it out into segments throughout the week as well. Follow us on social media, and thank you for hanging out, and we'll catch you next time. FJF, and
As
let's
always,
go Pacers, I guess. Yeah.
do it. Later, boys.
All right. Have a good one. Good night.